What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about Norwegians describing what a typical Norwegian is and typical Norwegian things. So basically, they're asking Norwegians on the street to describe Norwegian stereotypes, honestly. It's kind of funny because it's asking Norwegians to describe what a typical Norwegian is like. So I guess I'm gonna discover what is actually true. With stereotypes, sometimes it can be true or not. Like, I know a bunch of American stereotypes. If you asked me, I could be like, oh yeah, we're loud and we like to eat a lot of food and all sorts of stuff like that. And basically, it's how the world perceives you and how you perceive yourself and what the truth is. So I'm really interested in what their answers are gonna be because I am familiar with a lot of Norwegian sort of stereotypes, and I'm honestly curious how Norwegians would choose to describe themselves if they had to, which is exactly what this interviewer is going to be doing to people on the street. So this should be fascinating, honestly. Let's take a look.
Hva typisk norsk?
Brown brown cheese. Brunost. Brown cheese. Of course. I thought we were going to get very philosophical and insightful here. And immediately the first answer is, how would you describe a typical Norwegian? Brown cheese. Or I guess he's asking if you can name some typical Norwegian things. And he said brown cheese. Okay, that's probably what he's asking, more like that.
Ullgenser og brunost.
Yep.
Brunost. Flere som svarer brunost.
Oh my gosh, I didn't actually know that brunost was that popular. I know it's like a very famous Norwegian food, and it's very unique to Norway. I'd never heard of it until I was learning about Norway, but I didn't know it was so popular, or at least very Norwegian, and Norwegians agree with that, apparently.
Annet som typisk norsk.
Ski.
Skiing. Yes. Yes.
Greit, tusen takk.
Yes.
Er det gammelost?
Old cheese? Old cheese? Does it have to be old? So not brunost, but old cheese. Okay. I didn't know that.
Ja.
Så ost det noe av det mest typiske norske.
Granbare ost, ja.
Fir branches? Like a fir tree? Fir trees and cheese. Everyone is saying cheese. I did not know cheese was so deep culturally in Norway. Cheese. Norway, cheese. Got it.
Ja.
Brunost.
Typisk norsk. Hva typisk norsk, Lea?
Oh.
Spise brunost. Det typisk norsk. Ja.
Ostehøvler.
Ostehøvler.
Cheese slicers. Thank you. Okay. I was like, thank you for saying something different, but that also has to do with cheese.
Ja, det godt svar. Tusen takk.
Brunost. Ski. Jeg vet ikke.
I'm actually astounded right now. I don't know if they edited these all together, but I guess Norwegians really consider brunost to be a really, really, really Norwegian thing. Seriously. And skiing. I'm glad some people are saying skiing. That's a very important one, I think.
Ja, det fårikål.
Fårikål. That's the Norwegian national dish, right? The cabbage and lamb stew. I have reacted to that in the past a little bit. I'm glad someone said that, because isn't that supposed to be Norway's national dish?
Fårikål.
Okay.
Jeg vil det. Brunost og... Ja.
Brunost.
Hva det som typisk norsk?
Typisk norsk. Brunost.
I guess I mean, since everyone's saying Brunost, I gotta keep talking about it. I guess Norwegians really are aware that it's something that only exists in Norway, I guess. Like, and Norwegians kind of know that. Like, in America, I'm not sure there's any food that is just American. Like, American food is like, hamburgers and pizza, which is all over the world. Whereas Brunost it's like, it's specifically Norwegian. So that does make it special.
Oi, brunost, det et oppbrukt svar. Men
Det er helt riktig.
Yeah.
hva typisk norsk? Jeg vet ikke. Vi finner oss i veldig mye.
We tolerate a lot of things? That's an interesting answer. I'm glad someone's finally giving an interesting answer. We tolerate a lot of things. Norwegians are like willing to... Okay, so I think she's saying Norwegians are very like tolerant of people's like cultures and like identities and that kind of stuff. Like, I don't think she's saying that Norwegians tolerate like a lot of bad stuff, like or something. Like very tolerant of other people and ideas and philosophies, maybe.
Jeg vil si mer troll.
Troll. Yes, there we go. Trolls. Yes, good answer.
Fjell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Å klage på været.
To complain about the weather. To complain about the weather, okay. Americans do that too, but I know it can rain a lot in Norway, and Norwegians might like to complain about that.
I dag.
Det litt stygge skyer. Vi har det så greit at vi finner oss i mange sånne småting som veldig kjipe.
For eksempel dårlig mat.
Ja, vi fant oss jo i greiene til Ruter veldig lenge. Det jo en ting. Vi finner oss i litt sånn halvgod styring av landet, fordi den
Oh, so she really was talking about Norwegians are tolerant of like bad things, annoying things. I thought she was saying like Norwegians are tolerant of like people and culture and ideas, like tolerant. She's literally saying like that Norwegians can tolerate annoying bad stuff and still be okay, basically, like are very perseverant.
Liksom såpass OK at det går greit. Men jeg tenker det ganske typisk norsk, egentlig.
Interesting.
Skal jeg brunost? Brunost, vafler, bunad, sånne ting.
There we go. Waffles, bunad. These are things I've heard before. These are that I'm happy that a lot of stuff I have learned that I thought is like very, very important Norwegian culture is actually being said by these people. So makes me think like I've actually learned something. Norwegian waffles, brunost, and bunad.
Gå I fjellet.
Hiking, yeah, like seriously, like I think that's almost overlooked a little bit because it's probably so common for Norwegians to just like be used to living by mountains and hiking and skiing, but for the rest of the world, it's like when we think of Norwegians and Norway, mountains for sure. Something that simple is a good answer. Skiing.
Fjelltur, brunost, bunad. Så hvis jeg har på meg bunad, spiser brunost og går I fjellet, da...
Hva det nå? Det en geit på slep og...
Kjøttkaker.
Meatballs. Oh, yeah. Norwegian meatballs.
Overlegne.
Litt sånn sjølgod.
I'm not sure what that means. Superior? Cocky? I'm actually not sure what that means.
Overlegne.
Litt sånn sjølgodhet, tror jeg. Det tror jeg.
A little smug. Wow. Okay. A little self-evaluation here. She thinks Norwegians are a little smug. Like, is she getting at that, like, Norway is, like, very wealthy and is honestly looked up to a lot by the rest of the world for how Norway is run really well and for the policies and the people and, like, the culture is really great and the people are very educated and, like very peaceful. So with all that amazing praise, it can be difficult to like not get a little smug, maybe? Is that what she's getting at?
Vi er litt gode.
Vi er litt glad i oss selv.
Ja, jeg tror det.
We're a little fond of ourselves. Americans can be that way as well.
Ser på som veldig sånn Vi burde se på som privilegerte, men det er ikke sikkert vi husker det støtt.
Right. That's a good thing to remember. Like Americans as well. Like we're all very, very fortunate. And you get so used to it living in such a great country like Norway or America, honestly, compared to third world countries and stuff. You get used to it and you stop realizing how great you have it.
Hei sann, jeg lurte på om jeg kunne stille deg et spørsmål. Hva mener du er typisk norsk?
Ja, det rakfisk.
Fermented fish? Is fermented fish that popular? That it'd be considered typically Norwegian? Fermented fish. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but I have trouble with anything that's fishy, honestly. It's the American part of me.
Aner ikke. Grøt, kanskje?
Grøt. Og
Okay.
Nisser. Loftnisser, eller sånn fjøsnisser.
Porridge and gnomes? Porridge? I didn't know that. And no gnomes? Not trolls, but gnomes. Okay.
17. mai.
Right.
fylla.
Fylla, ja. Det er litt fylla av russetiden.
Okay, these were good. These were some good ones, actually. 17th of May, Constitution Day. Drinking. And the Russ. The Russ. The Russ that is a great answer. The Russ is the most Norwegian event ever. And the thing is, Americans have no idea about it. Like, that was the most mind-blowing thing for me to learn about, that there's the Russ graduating high school, and what the students do for a month, and the celebration, and that came out of nowhere. Like, Americans have no idea about that. But it is so Norwegian. That is a great answer.
Hva er typisk norsk? Typisk norsk, det er seilbåt.
Okay.
Det er fjord, og det er
Yeah.
vann og sjø og sjømenn.
Good answers. Like sailing, fjords. That's good. Yes.
Det er spesielt
Some of the more obvious stuff. Yeah. I'm glad it's being said.
norsk.
Jeg er typisk norsk.
Du er typisk norsk. Akkurat sånn som du ser ut.
Akkurat.
Si
Okay.
skiftende vær, tenker jeg.
Huh.
Ja.
Okay.
Ja,
Yeah.
det er det jeg er i hvert fall mest opptatt av for tiden.
Ok, tusen hjertelig takk.
Okay.
Ustabilt vær.
Oh. Okay. That's more common than I thought. Weather. Talking about the weather. Changing weather. I've heard a little bit about that in Norway.
Fårikål er det første jeg tenker på.
Okay. I mean, I've always wondered, like, how often do Norwegians actually eat fårikål? Like, and actually make it? Like, I know it's like a very Norwegian classic dish, but how often do you actually eat that?
Og spørre hva som er typisk norsk.
Hva mener utenlandske om
Oh.
nordmenn?
Oh.
At vi ikke er så høflige. At vi er veldig lukte.
I think foreigners say that Norwegians are closed off, but I wouldn't say Norwegians are not polite. Like, I guess if you're a foreigner and you don't know anything about Norway at all, you might think by accident Norwegians are polite, but it's just a cultural thing of like just not being so loud and in your face. It's actually just being respectful when you think about it.
Vi er frekke og
At vi ikke vil hjelpe til.
Oh.
Så vi er frekke og lite hjelpsomme. Og overlegne. Hva mener ikke-nordmenn om nordmenn?
Oh.
Ha.
This is interesting because I think Americans are really aware a lot of things the rest of the world thinks about Americans. S- but I'm curious to flip the script here, and I'm curious what Norwegians think the rest of the world thinks about Norway.
Jeg leser veldig mye om det, men jeg har liksom ikke dannet meg et veldig klart bilde på...
Yeah.
Jeg har fått inntrykk av at mange synes vi er litt rare.
A little odd. I think the truth is that Americans don't know much about Norway. Americans just don't know. And probably I can't speak for the rest of the world. But Americans are very ignorant about how the rest of the world lives, and Norwegian culture specifically.
At vi er har veldig avstand til andre mennesker, men med en gang du kommer innenfor, liksom bryter isen, så er vi veldig koselige.
Yeah. Like, Norwegians can be literally the nicest people you have ever met. Invite you into their home, give you help, advice, travel tips, but just that doesn't mean like you can just walk up to someone on the street and be friends or expect them to pay you the same kind of attention that would happen in America, basically. So that's very interesting. They seemed a little unsure of how the rest of the world views Norway. I think Americans just view Norwegians like that they like to ski and that they have blonde hair and they're tall, kind of like Vikings. And that's about it. There's a couple other stereotypes as well that are a little less common, I guess.
Andre mennesker, men med en gang du kommer innenfor, liksom bryter isen, så er vi veldig koselige.
Ja, du jobber i en typisk norsk butikk, på en måte, eller informasjon og diverse, regner jeg med. Hvordan synes du det er å jobbe her? Kommer du i kontakt med mye av det norske?
Vi kommer i kontakt med veldig mye av det som ikke er norsk, som vi prøver å vise noe av det norske. Det gjør vi. Ja.
Yeah.
Det er kjempegøy å jobbe her.
That would be so entertaining to deal with tourists in Norway and also probably kind of infuriating at times.
Beste sommerjobb, og man er ute mesteparten av tiden og koser seg og snakker med bare hyggelige mennesker, for alle er turister.
Huh.
Og nordmenn er ikke så hyggelige som turister?
Jo, absolutt. Men alle turister er jo her for å ha en hyggelig stund. Det er en litt annen hverdag du møter kanskje når du møter nordmenn som kommer rett etter jobben og sånt.
Okay, that's true too. Like, if you're bugging someone who's like going home from work, that's a much different environment than meeting like on a beach or a party scenario.
Det er en annen gruppe. Det er det.
Hjertelig tusen takk.
Huh. Interesting. That was very interesting, honestly. I enjoyed that. That was by Easy Languages, and I gotta give that video a like, because I enjoyed that very much. Honestly, the questions were interesting. Basically name the most Norwegian stuff you can think of. And Norwegians were able to come up with brunost, first and foremost. But then some were like some other things that I've heard of. Fatakal, mountains, fjords, skiing. And I thought that ending part was pretty fascinating. When he was asking, what do you think the rest of the world thinks about Norway? And most of them said that we can be closed off. So Norwegians are actually aware of that stereotype. That's so fascinating that Norwegians are like, I guess it's the same as Americans and the stereotype that Americans talk too much and are loud. There's a little truth to it, but it's not like completely true. So I'm going to say it's probably the same for Norwegians, where Norwegians can be closed off, but also some Norwegians are very outgoing and want to talk, or like most people say, and some of them said here, once you get to know a Norwegian and become friendly, and it's not just the first time seeing them, then you can actually grow a relationship and have it happen organically. But this was fascinating. I just loved hearing about what Norwegians have to say about what they think is Norwegian. That's a really interesting point of view. And it actually was a lot of stuff I thought was really Norwegian, and I wasn't sure what Norwegians thought about it. But now I kind of do. So it kind of reaffirms that for me in a good way. So this is good. I enjoyed it. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway and Norwegian culture and stuff in Norway I have never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.